I have a message that is above all else. I like to give advice based on what I've learned. And I think above all else, my message is do whatever you have to do. And I mean that as open ended as you can possibly take it. Just do. Don't hurt anybody, right? You, you don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want you to hurt anybody. Nobody really wants that. But find a way. And I mean, if you feel aggression, you know, find a violent video game and take it out. Just do whatever the fuck you gotta do to get to the next place. If that means you're not gonna be at your best for a while, let that be so. I can give advice until I'm blue in the face, but really at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do. And if that means making some mistakes, that means making some mistakes. And that's really what we're here to do, above all else. Just get messy, you know, find out who you are by finding out who you're not. And this message might not be for everybody, but just don't try to be perfect. Or do, if you feel called to. You know what I mean? But do what you're called to do. This life on earth isn't supposed to be picture perfect. You're supposed to have moments that you're not proud of, or moments that are less appealing to you. Your better self, right? Allow yourself to be perfectly imperfect. If you wanted to stay picture perfect all the time, you wouldn't have come here. This is not this is not the place that we come to enter into life and never make a mistake. Earth is one of few places in existence where we come to give ourselves the gift of darkness, of falling out of alignment with who we are. Because in the vast majority of existence out there in the universe, you don't forget who you are or why you're here or where you came from. And in those places, yes, life would be much more picturesque and flawless. Allow yourself to make mistakes and allow others to make mistakes. I think. And of course, it's all a part of it. But one of the biggest mistakes you can actually make is not allowing yourself and others to make those mistakes. To make mistakes, period. And really, if anything, if you're stuck in this place of trying to be so perfect all the time and never make a mistake, you're making the biggest mistake there is, which is just trying to force things to be perfect. And us existing as the physical mind in this reality, we don't know what the real perfect answer is anyway. I think it would behoove any one of us to allow ourselves and the world around us some grace and not demanding that we are the best and we always get the best. Because it always comes back to this for me. If we wanted this perfection that we think is the real answer, again, we would not have come here. This can be a deeply disturbing place to exist. And this is one of few places we can actually experience that. And there are much worse places that exist within existence. It gets much darker than it does here. The challenge here may be that we have almost a balance of darkness and light. While the world is now skewed slightly more light than dark, it still can seem very much like we're just existing with a perfect balance of both. But the gift that we have here is, although we experience both the light and the darkness, we have the ability through grace to just allow things to be that way. And the amount of growth that we experience in allowing that is immeasurable and priceless. So even something little like this, like the computer that I had my phone resting on fired up, and now I have to shut it down so I don't get a bunch of background noise. And ideally, I wouldn't have had that happen, and I could just do my whole video uninterrupted. But if I got all upset right there and turned the video off and start over, well, now I have to revisit. I have to do it over again, right? If I demanded, oh, this thought has to come out interrupted and perfectly, well, now I have to do it all over again. So why not just keep going with what I have? Take the imperfections in my stride, make a little adjustment, and now I do have the silence that I want to get my point across. To get my point across. Whew. And I don't have to retake everything I said before that and try to remember what I said. And, it can continue to be a genuine stream of consciousness rather than, okay, let me write down, let me script everything that came out so I can do it again. Rolling with the punches, allowing imperfections. Life is probably never going to be perfect in that you're never challenged again. You're never, you have no more bad days, right? And it's all perception anyway, really. If you think back to the worst time, the worst day you ever had, and think about the most boring part of a great day, when you're in that bad day, man, you would do anything to be bored in a great day. But that's just it. If you never have the bad days, you can't learn, at least eventually, to appreciate boredom on a good day. It's the darkness showing us how light the light really is, and how great it is to have light in your life at all. Even if it's not as much as you might think you want at any given time. It's all about perspective anyway. Even on your worst day, somebody somewhere would give anything for that to be considered their worst day. And yeah, there is probably somebody somewhere who does have it the worst, but it's not you. It's not anybody with internet access who can watch a video on YouTube. God. Lord knows, we all know, there's probably somebody locked up in a closet right now. There's probably on this earth a child locked in a closet by their parent. Not even a child abductor. It's their own parent who literally locks them in a closet for reasons I don't feel called to deeply understand. But what I do understand is it can always be worse. And those souls that take those horrific, those existences that are just beyond your imagination of how bad a bad day can be, they're here to show us that, hey man, like, yeah, there's challenges, but it can always be worse. It's all about perspective. And don't beat yourself up for for realizing, oh crap, you know, I've been, and I'm talking about myself here, you know, I've been mad at my life for not being good enough when there are people out there who have it so much worse than me. I wouldn't dare bitch about my day to them. You know, you would never even think about it because you hear what some people have to deal with, and it's like, man, I need to shut up. I need to start appreciating what I have. And I think we can feel so at odds with ourselves sometimes when we really realize how weak we've been that you don't even touch it. It's like, man, I've been so wrong with how I've been looking at my life that I can't bear to even look at how weak I've been. But it's better to look at it and come to terms with it than to keep making that mistake. You know, me with, oh, my mom this, my dad that, you know, the teachers I had growing up did this, the kids that bullied at me at school did that, where there are plenty of people on this earth that could look at that and go, man, at least you know who your mom is. At least you have a dad. At least you got to go to school. And I've realized so many times in my life that I could easily have it so much worse that I wouldn't even have the opportunity to sit in my head and complain about things because I'd be too busy trying to survive. It's better late than never. It's never really too late. Thank you for allowing me the space to give myself this message. Oh, excuse me. And I'm honored to be able to post these things and have someone out there potentially even to show these things within myself, the things I'm proud of and the things I'm not as proud of. But what a blessing to be in a world where I know that if I let myself be seen, you know, it's better than hiding. It gives me a way to heal in some funny way. Whether I'm talking to myself and nobody else or not. So thank you.